Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the top 10 reasons the Barbie movie was hated by the public. Starting off with number 10, obviously the women haters. In the days leading up to the release of the Barbie movie, directed by Greta Gerwig, the film has endured various attacks by right-wing figures whose issue with the movie lies in what they say is a woke and feminist agenda. In a time of unprecedented attacks on women by conservatives, it's not surprising that they'd also go after the things that simply bring women joy, like this movie. One of the most outspoken critics so far has been Ginger Gates, the wife of Matt Gaetz, a Republican congressman from Florida who is anti-abortion and anti-trans rights. After attending the Barbie premiere and seemingly having a good time, she took to Twitter to rail against the movie while praising the acting of Margot Robbie. Thinking about watching the Barbie movie? I'd recommend sticking to getting outfit inspiration and skipping the theater, Gates tweeted. Her reasoning? The Barbie I grew up with was a representation of limitless possibilities, embracing diverse careers and feminine empowerment. The 2023 Barbie movie unfortunately neglects to address any notion of faith or family and tries to normalize the idea that men and women can't collaborate positively. On to number 9, above traditional standards. At first it seemed Matt Gaetz had a different opinion to his wife, largely believing the movie was worth seeing because he finds Margot Robbie attractive, I roll. But even he had to pepper his praise with transphobia. Many conservative commentators took to their keyboards to criticize the congressman for seeing a movie starring a trans women actor, Harry Neff. But of course, it wasn't just the Florida congressman that had to have his voice heard. Ted Cruz railed against the movie for apparently spreading communist propaganda over a map of the South China Sea drawn in crayon in the movie. No one has to like the Barbie movie, but attacking it because it doesn't address any notion of faith or family is not only ludicrous, but untrue. Barbie shows its titular character surrounded by community and friends and undergoes a journey whereby she gains more faith in herself through an existential crisis. Conservatives want to believe the only way to depict faith and family is by praying or being forced to give birth, but there are a myriad of ways for women to express these notions. On to number 8, female-led blockbuster. Barbie is so much about family, with a poignant and touching message about motherhood at the center of the narrative, and even faith is addressed, as Barbie has to have the faith to believe in the beauty of humanity, even though she understands it will mean her mortality. The movie is overall a fun watch, but there's almost a serene sense of spirituality to these scenes. The criticism sounds nonsensical because it is. Because none of these people are brave enough to simply admit why they hate this movie. It's the first female-led summer blockbuster, possibly ever. And because conservatives hate women, they're gonna attack this movie. It's almost a natural law at this point that wherever you see women having fun, conservatives are lying in wait, frothing at the mouth, longing to destroy it. Barbie is pink and fluffy and smart and tender and nostalgic and witty. It's a movie that is supposed to make us happy, not a call to revolution. But you know what? If conservatives keep acting the fool about it, maybe we should turn it into a call to revolution. On to number 7, offensive image. As I've said before, the film features a map of Southeast Asia which shows a 9-dash line used to indicate China's claim over the territory. The map has been labeled an offensive image by Vietnamese officials, and as a result, Barbie's debut there has been cancelled. Barbie is far from the first movie to be deemed unsuitable for public viewing in Vietnam, and the 2019 animated movie Abominable was banned for the same reason. Elsewhere in the world, excitement for the much talked about film is reaching new heights on a daily basis. On Sunday, Margot Robbie hit the pink carpet in South Korea for the first of the many Barbie premieres and didn't disappoint in not one, but 2 suitably bright outfits. In the States, fans have also been given a chance to stay in a real-life Barbie Dreams house, which has been constructed in Malibu. On to number 6, Barbie's unrealistic measurements. Tells Barbie movie had once been living in some sort of developmental limbo for years. Initially, it was at Sony, now it's landed at Warner Bros., but only after both Anne Hathaway and Amy Schumer were attached and then left the project. Eventually, Margot Robbie was signed on, and Barbie in general has been controversial in recent years, but Mattel film chief Robbie Brenner says there's no real reason to hate Barbie or her movie. But many have not been happy with Barbie over the years. First, there were the allegations that Barbie's measurements have been unrealistic. If Barbie were a real-life person, she would simply topple over and have to walk on all fours. The original script of the Barbie movie was allegedly gonna address this assumed ideal when Amy Schumer was attached. She was meant to play a character living in Barbie Land who ultimately didn't fit in with the other Barbies. Eventually, she was supposed to visit the real world and figure out how to accept herself. Still going back to the toys, Barbie also suffered from criticism for not being overly diverse until recently. Then throw in the fact this movie will be based on a toy product, which often induces grumbles, and the fact some people were not initially excited about Amy Schumer's casting, leading to some hate for this project from the get-go. On to number 5, the cultural impact. From the moment Barbie came on the scene in 1959, the doll was controversial. Male toy executives conditioned to believe that little girls wanted to play with babies were flummoxed by this representation of a fully grown woman. But little girls, as they do, understood. Barbie became a sensation and then a lightning rod, then a concern. For the past 64 years, Barbie has been at the center of countless debates about who women are, who they should be, how they look, and what they want. Barbie looms as simultaneously an unrealistically proportioned airhead and a striving every woman. Most of the time she can't utter a word, but yet she's believed to speak for a critical mass of us. Perhaps that's why the Barbie movie that finally exists is the only one that could exist. One that acknowledges and embraces that weirdness under the vigilant gaze of a corporate chaperone. The trailer's tagline, "If you love Barbie, this movie is for you. If you hate Barbie, this movie is for you," is confirmation that Barbie is in the most literal way everyone's business. On to number 4, the plot changes. As mentioned, Amy Schumer was the initial option to play Barbie until Margot was finalized. No one truly knew the reasoning behind Schumer's exit from the project and the circumstances surrounding it. The actress has been quiet throughout the long term about why she left the film before it moved to Warner Bros. And on top of that, Greta Gerwig assumed control. One of the year's most anticipated projects, it highlights Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, Simu Liu, Emma Mackey, and that's just the beginning. In any case, it appears as though Schumer wasn't feeling life in a plastic dream house while fostering a past rendition of the impending, surprisingly realistic Barbie film. On top of that, it was said that creative differences were the explanation that she opted out. In a meeting, the actress added more about the matter that the world had barely any familiarity with. Amy Schumer finally confirmed that it was more than just creative differences when talking about why she left the project. As a joke, she added, "They said I was too thin." Before the project moved to Warner Bros., Schumer was developing the project at Sony as her own. She also agreed on asking if she felt that the first version wasn't feminist and cool. There's a new team behind it and it looks like it's very feminist and cool, so I will be seeing this movie, said the actress. On to number 3, Barbenheimer. Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer, starring Cillian Murphy, and Greta Gerwig's Barbie, starring Margot Robbie, are going for an all-out smackdown in the theaters. Both films are opposite extremes of each other, but it looks like fans are gonna have a joyride one after another. Comparing both films would be absolutely nonsensical. Barbie, without going into the depths of the feminine aspects of her character, would have been a bland attempt at showcasing one of the most globally recognized dolls, but that has changed with Gerwig at the helm. Despite the fact that it seems to be Christopher Nolan has certainly outshone Gerwig as the spending plan for his Oppenheimer additionally remains at $100 million. On to number 2, directing choice. Greta Gerwig was the director and writer of the critically acclaimed Little Women and Lady Bird. Both films proved to be a showcase for her directing and writing strengths. Little Women was nominated for 6 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Adapted Screenplay, and Lady Bird was nominated for Best Picture, Best Original Screenplay, and Best Director. Gerwig has often pulled from her personal experiences when creating her films. She revealed in a behind-the-scenes video for Lady Bird that she has started with things from her own life, then pretty quickly they spin out into their own orbit. The director also referred to using an actor-focused filmmaking approach in her movies, asserting that it's all about actors. With Gerwig's remarkable past achievements, Barbie could very well be another film that utilizes her talents. Outside directing and writing, Gerwig worked as a film and television actress for many years. Her understanding of not only being a director but also the world of acting should allow her to pull some amazing performances from the cast. Disney has even hired Gerwig to write Mark Webb's upcoming Snow White film. There have been no limits on what the multi-talented director can do. And on to number 1, first live-action Barbie movie. Mattel's line of Barbie dolls has traditionally had a target audience of young girls. The over 2 decades of computer-animated Barbie films have had the same target audience, helping sell Barbie dolls in an ever-growing digital world. This means that those who were not interested in Barbie dolls generally were not watching the animated features. Regardless of the movie's quality, many have continued to view the entire genre of animation as made exclusively for kids. Greta Gerwig's Barbie was not the one to address that. And since it's not an animated feature, the movie simply being a live action already has a much larger audience. But that is all for today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more news on your favorite celebrities. Comment below if you've seen the Barbie movie, if you're excited to see it, if you care to see it. I want to know. And I'll catch you next time on The Rich Slave.